Zoltar FTW. I have a BA in political science, concentration in political theory. I haven't had any job offers in anything other than retail or all commission sales in over a year. What should I be applying for? Well, what I would say is take the best job you can find. That could be retail. And I know retail jobs can be pretty miserable, but they may be better than no job at all. If you have a job, you're in a better position to find your next job because people would rather hire someone employed than someone who isn't employed. And then you're also employed and you have some structure in your life. And then I would also say, don't underestimate the possibility of moving up in a retail job. You can, if you're smart and hardworking and you're with a company that's smart enough to bloody well recognize someone like that, the probability for advancement in that kind of corporate structure can be really great. And so I would say if you're going to take a retail job, take the damn thing seriously and don't feel like it's beneath you. Because every circumstance that you find yourself in as a human being is rich enough so that there's much that you can bring to it in terms of useful commitment. Like in a retail job, well, you have the opportunity to learn how to interact with customers. You have the opportunity to learn how to sell. These are big bloody skills if you can get them right. You have the opportunity to learn how to be grateful that you're not starving to death in a ditch. And it's not such a bad thing to start at the bottom because then you learn what the bottom is like and you learn how to move forward. So I would say take the best job you can find and then continue to look for other jobs. But do the job right. Do it properly. And one of the things, and I've had lots of they're working class jobs. I've had lots of working class jobs in my life, like dozens of them really. And they're not trivial. You can learn a lot in a working class job, and you can learn how to get along with your peers. You can learn how to get along with your supervisors and be useful to them and maybe be drawn to their attention if they have any sense. And I mean, if you have a retail job and they're treating you like a miserable slave, and if you're doing a good job and you get no credit for it, it's like get the hell out of there as fast as you can. But you want to find somewhere where if you work hard and you're a reasonable person, that people are going to notice that and open up doors of opportunity for you. That's kind of the definition of a healthy company. And you can find that virtually anywhere. So don't be thinking that the retail jobs are necessarily, you're not going to be there forever, And with a BA, you often have to start at the bottom, but that doesn't mean that that's where you're going to end up. So don't feel too dismal about that. It's a start, man, and that's something. And you could go into the retail job and you could think, okay, like if I was really smart about this and I was really regarding this as an opportunity, how could I knock this out of the park? And that's a good thing to think about. And it beats the hell out of, sitting there, and I'm not saying that you're necessarily doing this, but feeling sorry for yourself because, you've got a degree and the world isn't opening itself up to you. It's like, maybe it is. Maybe the retail job is opening itself up to you. So, and then you work hard on developing your career once you've got a toehold in there. And I know maybe you might regard that as naively optimistic, but that beats naively pessimistic. But I also do believe, and I've seen this happen many times, is that you can, if your attitude is, if you have yourself put together properly, let's say sorted out properly, you can make a hell of a positive impact on the world in a relatively low-level position. Because you could make the person who walks into the store, your retail operation, you could make the next 10 minutes of their life a hell of a lot more pleasant than they might be if you were miserable and resentful. And, maybe they'll come back again and maybe the store will thrive. And that's especially true if you start working for a smaller business, man. You can have a big effect on a small business. So don't be thinking that there's no opportunity there. It might be your inability to construe that as opportunity that's what's interfering with it. And believe me, I know that especially chain retail jobs, and especially if you have a dismal authoritarian manager, that those jobs can just be hell. But so I wouldn't recommend staying in a job that's hell and that where there's no further movement, but don't necessarily think that you're not being offered an opportunity if you can take any job at all. You got to start somewhere, man. And the bottom, like I said, the bottom's not a bad place to start because you learn down there. And someone who gets really good at business across time, let's say, knows whatever enterprise they're in from the bottom up, and that's what makes them competent. So, and they don't say, oh, well, the things at the bottom they're not good enough for me, because the things at the bottom are really what the business rests on, and you need to know how those things work. And then you also have some sympathy for the people who are maybe stuck in those positions forever, which you wouldn't be. You won't be. So